Hi, my name is Dickson. Look, I'm not really one to ask people to help me, but I'm in a bit of a dire position whereby I really don't have any other option but to seek help from other people. Look, this is a pretty terrible set of circumstances which relates to crime and corruption within the state of Queensland, specifically relating to the Department of Justice and Attorney General and organisations under the control of the Department of Justice and Attorney General. These organisations include the Crime and Corruption Commission and the previously named Crime and Misconduct Commission, and it also relates to the Queensland Police Service. And as part of explaining the circumstances that I'm in, I have to go all the way back to 2005 and explain how I ended up in these positions that I'm in at the moment, whereby basically I'm left on welfare. I'm unable to get any, funds to be able to pursue justice or compensation, and this all stems originally from the conduct of WorkCover Queensland back in 2005. Which I reported fraud and conspiracy to defraud to the Crime and Misconduct Commission, but to my dismay, WorkCover Queensland, through their CMC liaison officer, were allowed to investigate themselves for what are in fact crimes. Now, as far as I understand it, and I may be wrong, I'm not a legal professional, they don't have authority to investigate fraud and or conspiracy to defraud. These are matters that should have been handled by the police or some other organisation such as the Crime and Misconduct Commission themselves. And at the time I pointed out that it was a conflict of interest for them to be investigating themselves for such serious matters. Secondly, I was assaulted by police in 2014. I was maliciously prosecuted and basically charged on what in fact are, perjurious witness statements produced by Queensland police officers. But once again, when I made a complaint to the Crime and Corruption Commission, the Queensland Police, they were allowed to investigate themselves once again. It's beyond comprehension, but no one has been charged. And basically I'm left maimed for the rest of my life as a result of these incidents that took place. So trying to just get to the point. So what's happening at this point in time is I've had to start legal proceedings against the police in order to seek compensation for the damages that have been inflicted upon me. And at the end of the day, I've attempted to have them criminally charged, but as I said, they have been granted the ability to investigate themselves without any oversight from the Crime and Corruption Commission. In fact, the Crime and Corruption Commission didn't even bother to get the video evidence and or contact witnesses that are available. There was at least 4 witnesses that seen the events that took place and were standing right there at the time of this incident. So at the end of the day, what I'm getting at now is I've had to go and see a solicitor because under law, you have 6 months to start what they call a personal injuries claim, and basically I didn't get that done in the time frame, mostly because I was dealing with psychological harm and other things as a result of these crimes and corruption that's going on within the Queensland Police and the Department of Justice and Attorney General. So basically, what has occurred is that I've gone and seen a solicitor just recently, and I've talked to him about how I can basically move forward with this thing, because I'm financially screwed, mate. I'm literally surviving fortnight to fortnight, and I'm unable to afford to get medical legal reports, or even to get medical treatment for that matter, or to pay a solicitor to represent my matter. And there's no win, no fee lawyers that will take on the matter. They don't see it as being viable or in their financial interest to do so. So you're just left to deal with it yourself. But I have seen this solicitor, and he's basically said to me that, for each of the medical, in order for me now, because of the legislation, to actually do a personal injuries claim, it has to be done by a solicitor. So the only person that can actually put it together is a solicitor, which I don't have the funds to be able to do. But I've gone and seen a solicitor who's willing to take on the matter and to assist me with these things. And basically, this is why I'm reaching out to people for help at this point in time, because, and it's really dire important that I'm able to do this at this point in time, because what the story is that in accordance with the civil procedure rules associated with civil prosecution, there has to be a step taken within a 2-year period, and so basically the last step that occurred in my case was on the 17th of October 2017, and as such, the solicitor has advised me in letter that basically I need to do two things. One is in order to move the matter forward and to take a step, and one is I have to give notice to the state of Queensland and Queensland Police and parties responsible for these matters. And I have to do that by September the 16th, I believe it is, September the 16th of this year. And if I fail to do that, basically I lose my case completely, and I'm just left on welfare for the rest of my life, and the Australian taxpayer has to pay for these crimes and whatnot that have taken place. Which is, in my view, not right at all. When they've committed the crimes, they should be held accountable and responsible for them. Things, and in fact, should be criminally charged. So what it comes down to is I have to make a step, or take a step, as they call it in legal terms, by the 17th of October. Now, I've talked to this solicitor, and he's basically advised me that in order to do that, I have to go and get medical reports and do all of these other different things from the medical professionals that I've seen. And he's stated that these medical reports are going to cost between $1,500 and $4,000 per report in order to obtain them to even start the personal injuries thing. Now, being that I have to get a solicitor to do this, he's then suggested that in order just to do this step at this point in time, he would require $20,000 to do that. And look, I can't even get a loan. I'm on welfare, so I'm really pleading with somebody to help me with regards to these matters, because I'm literally in a dire circumstance where basically they get away with not only the crimes, but they get away with without even having to pay compensation for the crimes that they've committed. So look, what I'm going to do now is try to just go through some of the information relating to these matters, and I'll try to do that as quick as I can. So firstly, there's, I'll just show you some information. This is from the letter from the solicitor. Unfortunately, I've only got it on my computer because I don't have a printer at this point in time. I've actually, I'm in a pretty bad situation at the moment, but I don't know if you can even see that. But that is basically the letter there, and it's saying about the time frame in which I need to do things, and where he's suggesting that he'll assist me on these matters, but it'll cost $20,000. That's just the first thing. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'll just drop some paperwork.